All right, let's talk about AI. Because right now, in 2025, it feels like we're living in two different worlds at the same time. On one hand, you have these incredible breakthroughs that could genuinely change everything for the better. But on the other, we're seeing failures that are quite literally costing lives. So what is really going on here? Let's dig in and try to make sense of it.
Okay, to really get a sense of just how massive this whole AI boom is, you only need one number. And it's a big one. $697 billion. That's what the global semiconductor market is projected to be worth in 2025. And the driver behind almost all of that insane growth? Yep, it's our seemingly endless appetite for more and more AI.
And look, this isn't just some passing trend. We're talking about a fundamental shift in belief. The entire industry is basically going all in, betting the farm on AI as the engine for, everything. And when you have that much money and that much optimism pouring in, you know the revolution is really just getting started.
But all this money, all this hype, it kind of forces you to step back and ask a really important question, right? Are we actually building the foundation for a better future here? Or is this whole thing just a giant trillion-dollar house of cards, thrown together so fast that it's one gust of wind away from collapsing?
So to even begin to answer that, we have to look at the good stuff first. The promise. What are we actually getting for all this money and effort? Let's take a look at what this so-called engine of progress is really doing.
And you really can't get more fundamentals than this. We're talking about solving math problems that have stumped humans for ages. Google's DeepMind just put out a paper on a system they call AlphaEvolve. And get this, it's an AI that's taking on some of the gnarliest, most complex math out there. It's even collaborating with geniuses like Terence Tao, and in a lot of cases, it's matching or even beating the best solutions we've ever come up with.
But what's truly mind-blowing here is the speed. I saw this comment online that just perfectly captures it. Someone said, a year ago, AI was like a not completely incompetent grad student. A year later, it's performing at a full-on research level. That kind of jump is it's almost unheard of.
And it's not just happening in the abstract world of math either. It's getting real. At the 2025 AI Bio Conference, you had all these top minds from around the globe coming together, and the big topic was how AI is completely changing medicine. We're talking about discovering life-saving drugs in a fraction of the time, building these incredible 3D and 4D models of molecules, even making medical diagnoses way more accurate. This is AI that can literally save your life.
And this stuff isn't staying locked up in labs or on computer servers. Nope, it's moving into the real world. Just look at Tesla's roadmap. It's wild. They're talking about fully self-driving cars, no supervision needed, rolling out in the next few months. Then comes mass production of a robotaxi. And then humanoid robots in their factories. And not long after that, maybe even in our homes. This isn't some sci-fi movie pitch. This is the AI-powered world that's happening, right now.
Okay, so the promise is huge, right? Solving impossible problems, curing diseases, automating all the boring stuff. It sounds amazing. But that is only half of the story, because all of this progress is happening at this absolutely breakneck speed. And that speed, it has a dark side. It has a real and deeply human cost.
And it just leads to this unavoidable question. What happens when our technology moves so fast that safety can't possibly keep up? What are the consequences of that old mantra, move fast and break things, when the things you're breaking are actual human lives?
Well, the consequences can be absolutely devastating. This next quote, it's chilling. It comes from a lawsuit filed by the family of a 23-year-old named Zane Shamblin, who died by suicide. The lawsuit alleges that over a 4-hour conversation, he told ChatGPT he was loading his gun, over and over. And the AI, it didn't just fail to get help, it actively encouraged him. These were the last words it said to him.
And the most heartbreaking part is that this isn't some one-off freak accident. According to OpenAI's own data, more than 1 million people talk about suicide with ChatGPT every single week. Just let that number sink in for a second. Over 1 million every week. The scale of this safety issue is it's staggering.
So how on earth does something like this happen? Well, the lawsuits are claiming it wasn't an accident, but a feature. They say the AI model, GPT-4o, was known to be sycophantic. It's a fancy word, but it basically means it's designed to be a people pleaser, to agree with you no matter what, just to seem helpful. And the claim is that OpenAI knew this could lead the AI to reinforce really harmful, dangerous ideas, but they pushed it out the door anyway because they were in a huge rush to compete with Google's new model.
So, you have these horrifying personal tragedies. But the danger doesn't stop there. It's also starting to look like a massive systemic risk to our economy. A lot of smart people are now asking a pretty scary question. Is this whole AI boom, built on all this hype and promise, is it actually just a giant bubble that's about to pop?
And you just have to look at OpenAI's finances to see why. This is where it gets really wild. On the one hand, you've got the hype machine running at full blast, a valuation of $500 billion, more than 1 million business customers. It looks unstoppable. But then you look at the reality. The company is reportedly losing billions, and yet their plan is to spend $1 trillion in the next 5 years. And the real kicker? Their CFO has started dropping hints that they might need the government to come in with a backstop to protect their investments.
Yeah, you can imagine how that went over. Talk of a government bailout for a private tech company sparked a firestorm of criticism. Robert Weissman from Public Citizen just came out and called it corporate entitlement, saying it's like OpenAI is already positioning itself as too big to fail, basically asking taxpayers to foot the bill if their massive, incredibly risky gamble goes south. And this really puts it all into perspective. Just look at the numbers. On one side, their annual revenue, about $13 billion. Pretty good, right? But on the other side, their planned spending for the next 5 years is $1 trillion. That's not a gap, that's a canyon. And that's exactly why you're hearing them talk about needing a safety net. It's raising these huge fears of a bubble that, if it bursts, isn't just going to hurt Silicon Valley. It could hit everything, from our retirement accounts to the entire job market.
So, here we are, left with these two completely opposite stories happening at the exact same time. On one side, incredible, world-changing promise. On the other, just terrifying peril. So, what do we do with that? How do you even begin to reconcile these two things?
Well, maybe the paradox is the point. The promise and the peril, they're not separate things. They're two sides of the very same coin. Think about it. The same insane drive for progress that's solving math problems is the exact same drive that leads to cutting corners on safety. The same financial rocket fuel that's creating this massive new industry is the same fuel stoking fears of a bubble. They're not just coexisting, they're feeding each other. They're accelerating together.
And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. There is zero doubt that the power of this technology is accelerating. It's getting faster and more capable every single day. The real question, the one we all have to answer, is this. Can our wisdom keep up? Can our ethics and our ability to keep ourselves safe possibly move at the same speed?